Previously on the last Pokemon Crystal SuperMON run. This is harder and more terrifying than a Nuzlocke. And coming up, Tendrils. Welcome back to another SuperMON challenge. We have run a couple of very easy Pokemon to get us started, and we are going to the complete opposite end of the spectrum today. PARASECT has a lot of things working against it, especially in the Generation 2 run, so do not expect the greatest of runs from this thing. I'm going to try my absolute best to take it as far as we can, but something tells me we're not going to be facing red in this particular challenge. Now, if you do enjoy these runs, please do consider liking the video and subscribing. But with that, I will now hand you over to the live run for PARASECT. A few videos ago, I was lamenting the fact that the grass type does not have a good time in Johto, and I think PARASECT is a really good example of this. This one is going to be tough. It's going to be a miracle even if we get past Falkner in our first few attempts with PARASECT. And if we get even further than Falkner, I will be taking it as a victory regardless of how much further we make it. So this one could be very short, folks. We shall have to see. Now, something I've not explained yet is the rules of the challenge if a Pokemon is just completely walled somewhere. I'm not having a rigid number for the amount of attempts I will make for a particular battle, especially those ones later on in the game. If it's just bad luck, I'll feel I can get back there and try again. But say if I just know that a Pokemon is not going to be able to make it through a battle, then I will look at giving some artificial help to the Pokemon. That could be something like a move it learns in a later generation. It could be a held item that we cannot access at that point. Just something to try and help us progress further. Now, that will mean it will not get an official place on the leaderboard with the higher number, but we can at least see what we need to do to fix that Pokemon. Now, in terms of moves, even though we've got quite a limited learn set, there are a few different ways we can play it. We can either play as a special PARASECT, running off our weaker stats but having some very good coverage moves, or we can play as a physical PARASECT, or we could even play as a status-inflicting PARASECT. I'm not going to try the status one yet, just because we only have 30 in speed, and I think it's more important that we're able to damage the opponents with a chance of a status than necessarily just going all out on the statuses to begin with. I think Sword Stance is going to be a must for attempt one, and my idea is Body Slam, Sludge Bomb, and Dig, because with those moves we should have something fairly neutral at least for everything we come up against. So we'll start off with Sword Stance, and we'll plonk that in slot 4. That is of course a TM it can learn in Generation 1. There's an NPC actually with a PARASECT in this game who has Sword Dance, so he must have brought his over from Kanto. Let us go for Sludge Bomb in slot 1. We will go for Body Slam in slot 2, and then Dig in slot 3. Now, this is our third challenge, hopefully. Providing this one gets us far enough to make a video out of it, then this will be our third SuperMON challenge, and this one really is the first where I think it's a tough time. It's an uphill battle. Both Clefable and Gengar really did have a lot going for them, whereas this one, it's not great, is it? I do apologise if you're a PARASECT fan. I'm probably going to be poo-pooing the PARASECT line for quite a lot of the time of this video, but I really want to try and like this Pokemon, and what better way than forcing it to do battles it probably can't complete. Now, you are all going to be sick of hearing me talk about stat experience after we have done quite a few of the SuperMON challenges, but I legitimately think that stat experience is going to be an incredibly useful mechanic in these runs. And we're going to start off actually by going all the way up to Route 46 here, and we are going to try and beat up as many Geodude as we can find. Now, this could take a little bit of time, and we don't have the best moves to battle the Geodude, but each Geodude is going to give us a lot of defensive stat experience, and they will add up, especially when we've got a 4 times weakness to the flying type as our first gym leader. I think the best way to start this challenge is to be exclusively leveling up on Geodude until we hit the level cap. And there we go, 21 Geodude later, and we have hit the level cap. and we exclusively knocked out Geodude to get to the level cap. Hopefully that will give us enough defensive stat experience to at least try Birdkeeper Abe, let alone Falkner. Now, we are weak to a bunch of types as well, so we're going to be doing a lot of stat experience grinding throughout the course of this challenge. I think it's going to be one of those ones we'll be doing it far more often than in a lot of other Pokemon, because we have to try to boost our relatively paltry stats. Having said that, 80 is not bad in the defensive departments. It could be an awful lot worse. If we had, say, Smoochum's defensive stats, then I would be really worried. I still am not confident about getting through the first trainer of Falkner's gym without any artificial help, but we shall have to see. I'm going to rush now into a rival one so that we can at least get one victory on the board. The rival does have Cyndaquil, of course, so that's another 4 times weakness we've got to play with a little bit later on, but we should be able to set up at least for the rival battles. It's these battles where we can't set up Swords Dance that it's going to be the big issue. If we can set up Swords Dance and get our attack high, then I think we'll be absolutely fine. There just isn't the opportunity to do it in the early game because they don't have status moves. They're all about the attacking moves. Anyway, let's see just how bad Violet City is. And so we have made it into Violet City. I've done a heal, and now it's time to prepare for our doom. I'm not expecting to get through this. Birdkeeper Abe leads with Spearow. Spearow pecks us, does a lot of damage, but we paralysed. Goodness me, we get through. We have our first victory. It's not worth any points, but we beat Birdkeeper Abe. Doesn't bode well for the rest of the gym, though. Let's try Birdkeeper Rod. See if this makes any difference at all. He's only got Tackle, so we're absolutely fine there. We'll use a Sludge Bomb on this Pidgey, so we can get through Rod. Let us go and grab a berry now, and we will try Falkner. I don't think we're getting through. We'll have to get incredibly lucky to get through Falkner, but I'm happy to say that there is a way to get through Abe. We can survive one of those pecks from Abe, and that is kind of massive, actually. It does mean that we can think about Spore on our next attempt, because let's be honest, we're not getting through Falkner. We are going to have a next attempt, so I think maybe get rid of Sludge Bomb and have Spore in its place. That does mean we will have nothing neutral for Lance's Aerodactyl, but again, I'm not even sure we're going to get anywhere close to Lance's Aerodactyl. So Body Slam, Dig, Spore, and Swords Dance might very well be the learn set for attempt number 2. Now, miracles can happen. I don't think they will, but we will give Falkner a go. He is our first gym leader, a flying type specialist, fills me with dread, leads with Pidgey. Pidgey goes for Tackle, and we've paralysed it. In fact, I forgot that Pidgey doesn't have a flying type move. That means we can triple Swords Dance and Body Slam. If we survive Pidgeotto's Gust, then we win! Goodness me, there was me talking down Parasect, but it survived on 2. We get a point for Parasect. That is 1 point more than I ever thought we would get on our first attempt. You've earned that hill, Parasect. I am proud of you already. You're quad weak to flying and you took it like an absolute champion. Let us deposit the egg and let's make a victory trek up the Sprout Tower. And now here we are at the very top of the tower. We are going to battle Elderly. Again, not worth any points, but I think Parasect should still be very proud of itself for getting this far. I know it's only just past Gym 1 and I'm celebrating as if we've beaten Red, but that is genuinely how it feels. We'll Body Slam both of these Bellsprouts. We will then use a Body Slam on the Hoothoot and we can finish it off with a Sludge Bomb, making good inroads to our next level cap there as well. We get the lantern so that we can see in the dark. We get the key escape rope so we can get out of any of these buildings. And we can start making our way towards Azalea. And now as we are heading towards there, I've been doing a little bit of thinking about the channel recently, and especially my attitude towards the channel. I think in the last couple of years, I've been really bogged down with trying to get the best possible times for all of the Pokemon, and not really appreciating my roots with challenge running, which were doing the incredibly ridiculous challenges, as opposed to trying to be the best runner out there, which is something that I was guilty of trying to do for quite some time. My focus has been on a lot of the, in quotes, easier Pokemon, because I thought I could get some pretty ridiculous times. We still did do some of the less good Pokemon, but it definitely wasn't my focus. But with the SuperMON challenge, because there's much less pressure, and because I can take things at my own speed, I feel like I'm going to be able to get back into getting my teeth into some of these harder Pokemon, because they all deserve a run, be it a SuperMON run, a classic challenge run, or some other kind of run. I really do want to try and have at least one challenge with every single Pokemon in the decks. There are some, like Wobbuffet and Ditto, where I'm going to have to think of a fun challenge to do that doesn't involve necessarily just solo running, but we will have to see for those. They are still a very long way off. But this SuperMON challenge does give us an excuse to have some of these weaker Pokemon get a go and see just how far they can get. Because I mentioned it in the first and second videos, the aim is not to win the challenge. The aim is to get as far as you can and see just how well your strategies worked, and then to go back and try and get further. Reaching SuperMON status is not going to be an easy feat for the absolute lion's share of the decks, so we have to get used to just getting as many points as we can. And now we are out of the other end of the cave, and we should be hitting our level cap courtesy of Hiker Anthony here. We will use Dig against his Geodude, and that should give us the experience points to get up to level 16, and then we'll use a Body Slam with a nice critical hits there on his Machop. We are picking up all the items we can en route, so that we can start doing a little bit of cash building, and you can see we're getting items that we will never, ever, ever in a million years use. We'll get rid of the Parlor's Heal. We can just use our full heals. We can sell both of these TMs. We'll buy a few repels in here, and then we shall be on our merry way to try and beat up Team Rocket. Now, Team Rocket could be a little bit pesky because I have a lot of poison types. And the Zubat line could be incredibly pesky because, of course, it is immune to Dig. So we will have to see how we get on against their Zubat. Maybe Body Slam will be strong enough to one-shot them regardless. That's the hope anyway, because, of course, the Zubat line has Leech Life, and we are weak to Leech Life. Yeah, we one-shot the Zubat. We have nothing to worry about at all here in Team Rocket's Slowpoke Well section. It's very rare, actually, that we experience this together on a video. Normally it gets cut out of the video and I say something like we're skipping ahead to Bugsy, but I want to show off Parasect's good times because I don't know how long they will last. The good times could come to an end at any moment, so we are going to take them as and where we can. We only took one turn of damage that entire Slowpoke Well section. Well done, Parasect. Give yourself a pat on the back. Well, maybe not, because you could injure yourself with your claws. What are they? Tendrils. And we will make our way into our next gym. And now almost all of the gym trainers have been beaten up. We are going to take on Josh, though. He has a Paras versus our Parasect, and we will Sludge Bomb it to knock it out in one. And with that, we are ready to try and get point number 2. This is Bugsy, our second gym leader, a bug-type specialist, leads with Metapod. Now, Metapod is relatively harmless, so we can set up 3 Swords Dances. We'll one-shot the Metapod, that was guaranteed, one-shot the Kakuna, and then let us try against the Scyther, and it is another one-shot. I mean, we did have 193 in battle attack there, so it would have been surprising if it wasn't a one-shot, but still, a very good showing for our second point. Our level cap does now go up to 20, and we can take on Rival 2. And now, I've been doing a little bit of thinking about Rival 2, and I think we're going to try and set up a single Swords Dance against the Ghastly. One Swords Dance should be all we need to get our attack up to a one-shot range. We will now Dig. We haven't been paralysed. That's brilliant. We're through the Ghastly, we are on to the Zubat. We knock it out in one shot. I think Dig will be a one shot on the Quilava. We didn't get crit, and we get through perfectly. That is about as well as Rival 2 could have gone there. We have gotten through, and we don't need to worry quite so much, at least until we get past Whitney. If we get past Whitney, that is. There are a lot of assumptions I'm making in this run, and we cannot assume anything. And that was just a brief reminder, we do get HM items instead of HM moves. That means we can have just our challenge Pokemon in the party. And thinking of challenge Pokemon, please do let me know if there are any Pokemon you want to see take on the SuperMON challenge, especially ones that you think will be a little bit tricky, a little bit tough, because I really, really want to try and get the best out of every single Pokemon in Generation 2. I have been doing a little bit of experimentation as well, and backports are fairly easily possible on this code base actually. It's only about 10 minutes extra work from a regular backport. So we could try some of our more powerful backported Pokemon and some of our weaker backported Pokemon and see how well they do in this setting. Because as we have seen on stream, some of the Pokemon that do very well in a solo challenge in the classic sense, where we are against the timer, suddenly have a lot of issues in the SuperMON challenge, because suddenly it's not all about the offensive stats. A Pokemon like Ursaring has brilliant offensive stats, so can brute force its way through challenges. However, its speed and defense isn't great, so it can go down fairly easily. I think this is something where a lot of the more defensive Pokemon will have a chance to shine. You never know, out of the 3 starters, Meganium could end up being the best starter in Generation 2. I reckon Charizard will still probably take it overall and have the smoothest ride out of all 6 of the first 2 generation starters, but we shall have to see. And now we are about to get what is likely one of the most important items for us in the entire challenge. We are getting the Quick Claw. That will allow us to move first just under a quarter of the times where we have it equipped. So we are going to give that straight away to our Parasect. We're going to avoid that battle today. We do not have the speed stat to deal with him, and instead we will take on Alan. We've got Sludge Bomb for Alan. We've been poisoned, but that does not matter. Constrict's fine. We knock out Alan, and we will be taking a heal in the Goldenrod Pokemon Center, courtesy of the Rental Abra, which we picked up from the Game Corner. But now there's not much else to do here in Goldenrod. We've just got to make it through last carry, and then we can start thinking about how we want to take on Whitney. My worry with Whitney is that the Clefairy will metronome something absolutely terrifying. Maybe a flying type move, maybe a fire type move, and it becomes game over time. So I'm going to have a little think about whether I want to Swords Dance against the Clefairy, and then we'll take her on. You only live once, we're going to risk it. Risking it has seemed to pay off in these more often than not. We are going to start with a Swords Dance against the Clefairy. Bide is brilliant. We can set up 3 Swords Dances here. That is the best move that Clefairy could have done. Goodbye, Clefairy. And we are going to say goodbye to Miltank as well. We have one-shot the Miltank. We've earned our 3rd point. And Parasect can be incredibly happy with that. I know I am, and I hope Parasect is as well. We are doing a lot better than I thought we would, and hopefully you all thought we would as well. It could still all come crashing down. I know I've been saying that a lot, but that's because I keep expecting it to crash down. The further we go, the more tense I am, because the more I'm thinking, what the hell is this Pokemon doing so far on attempt number 1? We're even going to risk Picnicakim's Vulpix here. We are flexing on those fire types. Let's get ourselves into Ecruteak. And now we have made it to Ecruteak City, where we are going to attempt the Kimono Girls. Some of these could be a little bit tricky, others could be fairly simple. We get a nice Quick Claw proc there on the Jolteon, meaning we take no damage at all from that. I do think that the Vaporeon rather should be fairly easy. A couple of Body Slams should take it out. Tackle does nothing at all really to us. We grow to level 22, we've got 3 levels more for the level cap. The Umbreon is bulky, but again, it shouldn't cause too many issues, especially because we've just poisoned it, turning it into a 2-shot instead of a 3-shot. This Pokemon, the Espeon, should be fine, I think, hopefully. I can't see many issues with Espeon, especially because we just paralyzed it. However, I am worried about the Flareon. Let's take it on. Let's see how we do. We've saved it till last. One dig is probably enough, and we get a quick claw proc in the right place. Perfect. That's the Kimono Girls done. That is another very nice little bit of progress for our Parasect. I am thinking about changing the scoring ever so slightly. Well, actually, quite a lot, to be honest, with how we do these runs, to add more points into the equation to get more of an accurate view of the Pokemon, but that is still very much something I am working on at the moment. I am happy just doing the runs as they are, but we might end up with a little bit of rescoring, especially because our 2 video Pokemon so far have been SuperMONs, so we don't need to worry quite so much about the number of points we've earned, and I can figure it out later for the others. But for now, we're just going to keep trying to get towards that level cap, and then we will be taking on the next rival battle. And now, just a couple of battles later, we have reached the level cap, and we can try, if we can get through the hole, to take on the rival. Let's see how we get on now, shall we? I think we're going to have to Swords Dance against this Haunter. Curse could be very, very, very brutal. Is that a range? We crit the Haunter, so we did save a turn of damage there. We body slam the Zubat. We are going to try body slamming the Quilava. Now, do we one-shot the Magnemite? Yes, we do. We probably could have gone down there if it wasn't for the Quick Claw, but that is exactly why we are holding the Quick Claw. It gets us out of these situations. Let's get the escape rope, let's leave, and let's get our HP up, and we will think about taking on Morty now. I did go and grab the Minceberry from the Moo Moo farm to give us a chance against the Gengar here. And one important thing to note actually before we take on Morty is our HP is not a multiple of 4. 77 is absolutely not divisible by 4, and that means technically we get 1 extra turn of Curse. If we were a multiple of 4, we would go down in 4 shots. It is 5 shots without the multiple of 4, and I'm wondering, you know, if that is why they give the HP up over in the Burnt Tower. I've been doing a lot of thinking, you know, it's actually about 15 minutes later. I've just been staring at the screen going through all the different permutations of moves and items we have. And I'm reckoning Quick Claw might be the play. Because if we get cursed, then we are on a clock, and with Dig being a 2-turn move, we are not going to have the health, even with 5 turns, to get through. What we are relying on is Swords Dance into Sludge Bomb, I think, on the Ghastly. Hope that that is a one-shot as opposed to a range. And then maybe trying to dig, but I think this might be the end for Parasect. I very much think this is game over. I'm going to give it a go. I don't think there's any other way to get through this than the way I just thought of then. We do get our attack buffed. We get a Quick Claw proc there. That's kind of meaningless. Nightshade's hit us. I think it's all over. I do genuinely think it's all over now. Yep. Not much we could do there, unfortunately. But we have earned 3 points for the gym leaders. And it was a very, very valiant effort there for Parasect. Got a lot further on its first attempt than I thought it would. It's 3 points under the old system, but we're now going to go back to the lab where I want to show you the new scoring system. Now, one of the things with a brand new challenge is the rules are going to be chopping and changing for the first few runs. We saw that with our classic challenge runs all the way back in 2022, and we're inevitably going to be seeing it quite a lot throughout the course of the SuperMON challenge, at least at the beginning. Nothing is set in stone yet until we all figure out what works, what doesn't work, what needs adding, what needs removing, what else needs changing, and the scoring system is definitely one of those things. I like the scoring system's simplicity at a point per gym leader, but it doesn't really have flexibility when you've got a Pokemon that could faint on the first battle after Whitney, or faint at Morty, for example. So I have gone through and I have tried to find a much more balanced scoring system. Instead of out of 25 now, we are out of 100. Our 4 key plotline trainers, so they are the Slowpoke Rockets, the Kimono Girls, the Mahogany Rockets and the Radio Tower Rockets, will each gain a single point to your score total. The rival battles are all worth 2, so we've got Cherry Grove, Azalea, Burnt Tower, Goldenrod City and Victory Road for a total of 10 points. Now, the Johto gym leaders are each worth 3 points. They're slightly more important than the rival, which is slightly more important than the plotline trainers, so they're all worth 3 points for a total of 24. The first 7 Cantonian gym leaders are the same at 3 points for a total of 21. The Elites 4, they're 4 points each, kind of makes sense. We've got 5 points for Blue because he's a harder gym trainer than all of the others put together. And then for the 2 battles where you get to see the credits, Lance and Red, we get a whopping 10 points. And that's also going to help me scoring in between those battles as well. It'll give me a better indication of whether it was a high 15 points, for example, or a low 15 points for a Pokemon. So that is really going to help us figure out the order of the Pokemon a little bit more. But with that, should we now look at Parasect's first updated leaderboard score? And now, Parasect's updated score with the new system is 17 points. We got 2 points for all of the rival battles that we did, so that was 6 points in total. We got a point for the Kimono Girls, a point for the Slowpoke Rockets, and then we had 3 gym leaders defeated as well. Now, I feel there is more story that Parasect can tell. I don't think that Morty is the final points for this Pokemon. So, I'm making the decision to do a second run. I think a second run is going to be very beneficial for Parasect. We learnt an awful lot on that first run. We know that Swords Dance is a blooming good move for Parasect, so we're keeping that. We are also going to keep both Body Slam and Dig. So we'll teach Dig first, and then we will teach Body Slam. And then for our final move, we are going to go for Spore this time. Because if we can send that first Ghastly to sleep, then we will be in a much better position. So let us now teach Body Slam in slots 2. And then finally we will go and nab Spore. Spore should be towards the top of the list. In fact, it is 4th on the list. 4 for Spore. Let us now have a look at our updated Learn set. So we're running the exact same Parasect we were before. We have 22 HP at level 5, holding a berry of course. Our 4 moves this time are Dig, Body Slam, Spore and Swords Dance. So we've replaced Sludge Bomb with Spore. 16 in attack, 14 in defense, 12 in special attack, 14 in special defense and 9 in speed. So I will get on with getting us past where we were last time. I'll keep you updated with highlights of the gym leaders and rival battles, but we'll make this fairly nippy. And so here we are back at Rival 1. I've not done the Geodude training this time. We'll see if that makes any difference at all, but we critical hit the Cyndaquil, so we get through the first rival battle. Let's move on to Falkner. And now we are ready for attempt number 2 here at Birdkeeper Abe. He is starting with his Spearow. We are going to send it to sleep and hope that he doesn't crit. And then as long as we get a 2-turn sleep, we are guaranteed to get through Abe, and we can take on Falkner. And now after beating up Rod as well, we are back to Falkner. He is our first gym leader for the second time in this challenge, and he leads with Pidgey. We're going to send the Pidgey to sleep this time, and then we are going to get to Swords Dancing. We're going to use just a couple of Swords Dances, that's really all we need. And then we will Body Slam, we get rid of the first one. Here comes Pidgeotto, it doesn't crit, we one-shot with a crit that probably wasn't necessary, and we re-earn our Zephyr Badge. We are up to 5 points on the board. We of course got 2 for the first rival battle, and now we have 3 for our first gym. Our next key battle is going to be at the very end of Slowpoke Well. So we find ourselves in front of that pesky Rocket Grunt once more. We didn't have any issues last time, and I think it's going to be the exact same situation this time. We'll get hit by Smog, doesn't really matter, because we can use 2 turns of Dig to get rid of this Grunt, and let's move on to Bugsy. And now we know the deal with Bugsy. We Swords Dance against one of his Cocoon Pokémon, and then we get to sweeping. So we will start off with Swords Dance. We're not even going to bother using any spores here because we're going to take minimal damage in this entire battle. We say goodbye to Metapod. We are going to say goodbye to Kakuna. And then we will one-shot the Scyther as well. Not even a chance for Fury Cutter to hit this time. We've re-earned our second badge rather, and we have 9 points on the board. We're about to make that up to 11. So let's now try and get back through Rival 2. He was okay last time. Hopefully he will be just the same this time. We're going to send the Ghastly to sleep, and then we are going to start Swords Dancing, and we're going to hope that we have enough attack to get through the rest of this battle. So it's a one-shot on the Ghastly. Here comes the Zubat. We get leech-lifed, but that's absolutely fine. We are through. As long as Ember doesn't crit, we are absolutely good, although maybe not actually, because, well, that was a weird battle. Kinda lost my train of thought there. Getting burnt, but paralysing, to then outspeed because we didn't one-shot. Goodness me. That first Parasect run might have been a bit of a miracle, you know. We've got a very lucky escape there, but we are up to 11 points. Let's move to Whitney. And now we can take on Whitney. She was very easy last time because Clefairy rolled Bide. This time I think we're just going to send it to sleep. And then we will do our Swords Dance. As long as a fire or a flying type move doesn't come out, we will be absolutely fine. In fact, she's not even going to get a hit off on us. It's one shot on the Clefairy, and we know we can one-shot the Miltank courtesy of Swords Dance. That means that after we have had that little whinge from Whitney, we are up to 14 points. Let's now rush to the Kimono Girls. I think I might be running with slightly higher physical attack stat experience in this particular challenge, because we've just critical hit and one-shot an Umbreon, for goodness sake, and it has been a little while since I recorded the last clip, so I'm not 100% sure actually how well we did at the Kimono Girls last time, but this is feeling very, very strong. Strong enough, in fact, that after we knock out this Jolteon, we are going to be able to speak to the man staring at the stage, and we will obtain our next point. We are up to 15 points now, I beg your pardon. If I can read, we will get 2 more now for the next rival battle. Let's try and get through Rival 3 now. It is a little bit of a crapshoot, but hopefully we will get the luck required. We've sent the Haunter to sleep. That is good. It means we're not going to be cursed. We'll get rid of it. We'll do our setup against the Zubat. Send it to sleep. We will Swords Dance, and we have the win. Really, we've just got to hope for that chance of the Quick Claw activating in this particular battle. We're confused no more. We can Body Slam. We'll get rid of the Quilava in one shot. We didn't get burnt. And then we can also one-shot the Magnemite. Absolutely perfect. We got the Quick Claw proc that we needed. And the rest was simple. Let's fall through the floor and take on Morty. Let's see, can we get through this battle? That is the all-important question. Let's send this Ghastly to sleep and see what we can do. We will Swords Dance, we'll get our attack up. I think we only need 1. We haven't been cursed by the first Ghastly. Let's try now against the Haunter. Nightshade is interesting. I think that means we're not being cursed for this battle. We get the perfect Quick Claw proc against the Gengar there, and there's nothing this Haunter can do. We are through. I can't believe it. Fog Badge, 20 points on the board. Parasect, you absolute demon of a Pokemon. And now we're doing something that I never thought we'd be doing with Parasect. We're climbing the lighthouse. I thought we would get walled at Morty again, and we would call it a day there. My other idea was potentially to go for a third run with Psybeam in its place, but it turns out we didn't need it. We got just the luck we needed on our first try, and we were able to get through. Now, I do think that's actually one of our hardest gym battles out of the way, at least for the next little while, because we've got Chuck coming up. He's not going to be too much of an issue, of course, because he is a fighting type specialist with his other ace move being a water type move. That's going to be no issue at all for Parasect. We have Price coming up. He does have the type advantage over us, but we can set up on his Seal and then try and sweep. And then that brings us to Jasmine. And what's Jasmine going to be able to do? Probably not a lot, because we've got a ground type move and we've got the Sledgehammer move in Swords Dance. So let's now take on Chuck's gym. Chuck shouldn't be too hard, but I am a little bit worried about the Hitmonchan after this tag team, because it does have a fire type move. It doesn't have the best special in the world, but a crit could KO. Also, we could get frozen. We've been burnt. There we go. That's the kind of bad luck we're talking about, but then we get some good luck with a crit. Goodness me, I thought it was curtains then. But we live to fight another day. Oh, this Parasect. It really is up and down, up and down, up and down. Not getting a chance to get into a rhythm in the slightest here. Let's just take on all of the rest of these gym trainers. You never know, one of them could end up knocking us out. I could have a bit of misplaced confidence, but we've only got Lung left to go. He's got some Mankey, and I think he might have a Primeape as well. We're going to play it safe here, just because I don't want to take too much damage, and I don't want to have to go back into the Pokemon Center. We'll send it to sleep, we'll do a single Swords Dance, and then we'll get through all of his Pokemon, and we can think about how we want to play against Chuck. He is going to be our 5th gym leader together. We are hopefully going to get 23 points on the board. Let's see how we get on. We'll Spore the Primeape as Fury Swipes misses. We'll set up just a couple of Swords Dances here, and then we shall start to try and sweep. It's one shot on the Primeape. Mind Reader's fine. Poliwrath goes down, and we obtain the Storm Badge. Let us now get out of here with our heads held high, and we can move on to the Gyarados. So let's see how bad or good this Gyarados fight will be. We will just body slam it and hope for the best. Another nice critical hit there from Parasect gets the job done. That does of course mean we can have a little chat with Lance the Liar with the Flyers. And we're going to take the scenic routes back. I want to try and get the stat experience off this Slowbro, as well as the Nidoking that is on the next trainer on the way down. I think those two will give us quite a bit of nice stat experience, and will hopefully give us a little bit of a boost to some of our stats. We also hit the next level cap, and now I've got a bunch of bloomin' rockets to do. And that is the rocket section all taken care of. We get an extra point for doing that. That takes us up to 24 points. And that means we can get out of here and we can take on our next gym leader. And our next gym leader is going to be Price. Price does have the type advantage over us, so we've got to be careful. So let us now engage him in battle. He is, of course, an Ice-type specialist. He has the type advantage over us, but we've got Spore and Swords Dance. So we will send this Sil to sleep. We will start Swords Dancing, and as long as we get a couple of turns of sleep, we will be absolutely fine. And let's get to body slamming. So it's a one-shot on the Sil. Out comes the Dugong. We get rid of it in one as well, and it's going to be a one-shot on Piloswine. Not even sure the crit mattered there, but we do obtain the Glacier Badge. And with 27 points to our name, we can now move on to Jasmine. We have returned the secret potion here at the very top of the lighthouse. We will use our escape rope to get out, and we'll see how we do. If we end up paralyzed here, we could end up taking a loss, but I think that is rather unlikely. She does, of course, lead with Magnemite. We send it to sleep. That's just for a little bit of safety. We will use just one dig here, and we will get rid of it. Out next is her Steelix. Once again, we're going to send it to sleep, and we will start Swords Dancing our way up. Steelix has woken up, Iron-Tail has missed, she's not been chugging that secret potion today, and goodness me, we're doing a lot of damage there. Steelix goes down, and that means we are guaranteed the win. Leader Jasmine is defeated, we obtain the Mineral Badge, and we're now just shy of a third of the way through. We are 30% through the number of points we can obtain. This could spell the end of our run here. I have a feeling that leading with Golbat could be one of the most difficult battles that Parasect could potentially face. We've ended up being confused, but we have sent the Golbat to sleep. If it's a long sleep, we might be able to do something here. We can get up a Swords Dance, and we are on quite good health now for what's presumably going to be the Quilava. Flame Wheel hurts, but we did survive it. This is good. Let's probably Body Slam Magnemite. Probably going to be able to one-shot. We'll need to dig for the Haunter. We're down to 8 HP now. Who is last? It's Sneasel. If we Quick Claw, we win. If we don't Quick Claw, we lose. We lose. That's it. Parasect's time has come to an end. I still think we did very, very well. I don't think that extra level getting to the level cap would have meant anything. I'm happy with how far Parasect has gone. Let us take a look at the leaderboard. And we did manage to get a lot more points in that attempt. We are up to 3rd place with 30 points. 13 more points than our initial try with Parasect. Please do let me know if you think you can do better. I'd love to see you take what we've built here and improve on it. Let me know your scores down in the comments below for if you do the Parasect run. But for now, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you Parasect today. It's our first time ever seeing Parasect on the channel. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. If you want to see more like this, click the subscribe button. If you want to get early access, make sure you're a channel member. And until next time, I will say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.